Have faith, let it begin. Hello everyone, this is Angel, and I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. We want to thank GABBIE Santana for her use of our theme song, Tested. Thank you so much, GABBIE. We appreciate your constant support, and we appreciate you sharing your talents with us each and every day. For all of you out there that are constantly listening to our shows, I just want to give you a brief heads up. We are going to be eventually interviewing GABBIE for the first time, and we're going to try to get her to perform the Tested song before and after the show ends on a live show, and that way you can have any pre-decided messages, or if you have any ideas of questions you want to ask her, start sending it to our show at havefaithlig@gmail.com. So this way you can ask some questions and we can ask it to her when we have her on the show. That's coming up hopefully by next week. And right now we are in August, so first week of August. So look for that, and keep an eye on our like page at Facebook, Have Faith, Let It Begin, for updates regarding that interview to come. I want to talk to you today about something that was interesting, that just like popped in my mind. And you saw the title, Your Biggest Fears. Your Biggest Fears. Oh man, there's so many things we can talk about today, but I want to just cut it down to two things. Number one of my biggest fears is heights. I am scared of heights. Holy cow. Anything that is high. Bridges are so hard for me to go across. It is so difficult for me. I'm just terrified of heights. Which obviously means I am terrified to fly. Terrified. Oh my goodness. So, what is your biggest fear? And what is your craziest stories regarding those fears? I can tell you regarding flying, oh my goodness, it goes back to the day when we were going to Louisville, Kentucky to visit my friend Chip, which you've heard his name before on our show. So this is a Chip story. So this is like back in 2004, actually no, that's not true, 2007, 2008-ish, around that time. My wife and I were flying, and we've had flown before. I think this was our second trip, I want to say. Mind you, it's been a while, I forget the times, but I know that we had flown before because my wife always made jokes at me when I'm flying, because I grip the seat. I don't even get out of the seat to go to the bathroom. I mean, it's that crazy for me. So here we are, we're flying for the second, possibly be the third time, because I know we had gone to Florida previously. So we get on the flight, and in the middle of the flight we hit turbulence. And you know, there's no secret that anytime you fly you hit turbulence. But this particular flight, the turbulence was so crazy, so bouncy, it felt like we dropped, you know, a good 1,000 feet. And in the past, when I get turbulence or I feel like I'm, you know, losing my control a little bit, I literally just start praying, and you know, I close my eyes and real quick, whenever I sit on a plane, I don't want any window seat. And prior to marrying my wife, anytime I would fly by myself, they always put me next to somebody that always loved to have the window open and always tell me, "You see how high we are?" And I'd be like, "No, don't say that." Or the captain would be constantly on the microphone going, "Good afternoon, passengers. This is your captain speaking. We're flying at 40,000 feet. I'm like, "Oh my God." So, yeah, biggest fear is definitely flying. So here I am on this flight. It's really bouncy. And you hear the captain go over and says, you know, "Flight crew, take your seats." And I'm like, okay, that's different. Never had that happen. And well, all of a sudden we get this big jolt. You know, it's like, blah, 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 blah. And I see the flight crew running down the aisle. And you can even see the fear in one of the ladies' eyes. Like she's never felt this before. So now I'm sweating. I am just literally, oh my gosh. You know, I'm like, this is not good. So normally at this point, I would look to my wife, and she's so brave, so that I would look to my wife, and usually when I look to my wife, she would just give me that look like, it's no big deal. You know, why are you worrying about it, I look at my wife, and she's got the biggest fear in her eyes, but she's trying to not let me know that she's scared, but it's written all over her face. So I look over and I see this face, and I go, "You okay? What's going on?" And she's like, "It's okay." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is not good." But of course, thanks to God, the turbulence subsided and the flight was good. But let me tell you, in those few minutes, it was brutal. So, which leads me to my next thing. Biggest fear is definitely heights. Don't like bridges, don't like heights. But I will say, though, even though I'm scared of heights, if I have to do a roller coaster, it takes a few minutes, but I'll do it. So here's another story where my wife and I we're in Florida, and we went to Universal. My wife wants to go on the ride for The Mummy Returns. So, of course, we get there, and we have that fast pass, so we're skipping the line, we get to the front, and, you get to, if anybody has done a roller coaster before, you actually sometimes have an option of getting to the front seat. So, of course, my wife, which I think sometimes she does it on purpose, she decides we got to get the front seat. Sometimes you have to wait longer because the front seat's the most, popular. So my wife gets the front, we want the front seat, we're in line, and, they let people on, and then you move up, you move up, you move up. We get to the point where we're next, and we're next to go in line, and we hear the guy that's orchestrating people coming in and out. We hear on his walkie say, sorry about that, folks. I had a phone call coming in, and normally I have it blocked, but not today. So we hear the walkie-talkie go off, and the walkie-talkie says to the guy, "Attention on deck. The ride is we're gonna have to set a test ride. The ride is not functioning." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I'm like, "Is the ride broken?" So, they're like, you can tell that they have to do a test. So they literally start sending cars through without any people. Nobody's on the actual ride. So now here, mind you, this is a guy that's me, that's scared of heights, and I'm literally next, but yet they're saying that the ride is malfunctioning. So they send a cart through. As soon as they send the cart through, another one comes up, and they go, "Okay, we ready?" "Oh, no, it's not. It's still malfunctioning. We're going to send another car." They do this for about 4 trips. And I'm thinking to myself, how in the heck are we going to be the first ones to go on? We're going to be the guinea pig to go on next. So, needless to say, 4 trips, now they want us to go on. Now the ride is really scary. I mean, think about it. The ride is malfunctioned. They've tested it out, and now you're the first crew to go on. So we get on the ride. They check, the seat belts, and just before they send us through, they tell us we have to get back off because the ride is still not functioning right. Okay, I wanted to leave. I wanted to run, and my wife's like, "No, I want to go on this ride." I can tell you, I had tears in my eyes. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is not good." So finally, they test another couple times. They put us on, and they send us through. And it was the most terrifying thing you will ever see. I am going to post that picture, because they take pictures of roller coasters. I will be posting that picture on our like page. It will make you laugh, and it'll be the first time you get to see my picture. I will clearly mark it. I'm in the front seat, and I'm the only one with my hands locked to the seats and my mouth completely dropped in fear and screaming. So yeah, that's my biggest fears. And I'm happy that I'm able to make all of you laugh at me. And hopefully the stories were funny. So I challenge all of you to write to the show and tell me what's your biggest fears. And tell me some of your stories. I'd love to share with them on the air. So, just wanted to do something a little different this week and give you something a little funny. Let me close with this. No matter what fear you have, no matter what things that make you nervous, always remember that good is always with you. God is always with you. And if you really have faith, no matter what fear you have, you can overcome anything when God is in control. Have faith. Let it begin. I don't feel like doing any roller coasters this week, I can tell you that.